Radio fans, I am your host today, John Rush, and we are reviewing today the 2015 Denali HD, which this is a GMC truck, as you can, I would hope by now, know the difference. So this is GMC. Chevrolet also makes a similar truck. They call it the Silverado. So this is the Denali version of their Sierra truck. So it's the highest upgraded package you can get on a 1-ton truck in the GMC lineup. In fact, I think, Richard, is it the High Country, or what's the truck that Chevrolet's producing that's similar to this?
It is the High Country is supposed to compete with the high end of Ford and Dodge, and then the Denali.
Yeah, so this truck is actually this is going to compete with like the Longhorn edition of the Dodge, the King Ranch on the Ford. You know, that's what this Denali is for. Richard and I were talking on our way up to do this review. You know, who's going to buy this truck? Well, let's talk for just a minute about that. $65,000. This one's 64 and some change. If you added a sunroof and some other things, you're going to be probably over the 65 mark by the time you're done. So this is a mid-60s price truck, which actually is the same price roughly you're going to pay. You know, they're all very competitive. You're going to pay roughly that same price for a Dodge, for a Ford. Not going to be a lot of difference. $11,500 is the GVWR on this particular truck. It's a little rough riding. Yes, it is a 1-ton. Richard was commenting about that. On the same token, I have the exact same truck. This is a Duramax diesel Allison transmission in this particular rig. I've got the exact same truck, 2012 model. It's an LT model, so it's not near as fancy of this. That's a 3/4 ton truck, and what I will tell you is this 1-ton version of this new 2015 rides equally the same as my 2012 3/4 ton truck does. So I really would have liked to have driven a 3/4 ton version of this to see how it compares to my 2012, and maybe I will here at some point. But Richard, let's do a little walk around. It's a beautiful truck. You know, same exterior they've done on the 2014 half-tons. They've just now continued on into the HD models. And again, it's not just Chevrolet and did this. This is a GMC, and this is a GMC truck. This particular truck, again, I said Duramax diesel. In fact, I'm going to start it up here in a minute with this on the outside so you can actually hear what it sounds like. As Richard's doing the walk around, I'm going to go do this. But it's got big exhaust. So this one's got Rancho shocks on it. That's part of the Denali package. One complaint I do have on this truck is these are the same wheels on my 2012. I would have thought with 65 grand, they could have done something a little bit different to offset the Denali itself. This is no different than the wheel package, the entire package that's on my 2012 Chevrolet. One nice feature they've done while we're doing the outside walk around, it's got a resistant type tailgate where instead of just dropping down and slamming down like my truck has, it actually has a nice cushion as it comes down. Nice features inside the bed, tie down wise, etc. This one comes with the spray bed liner that comes from the dealer side of the fence. Backup camera sits right here, which, by the way, Richard, get a shot of this. This backup camera actually not only enables you to see what's behind you, but also see when you're hooking up your hitch down below, you can actually, up front on the screen in front, you can actually see as you're backing up. Another cool feature Chevrolet and GMC both have done that I do like, instead of having Ford where you got to lower the tailgate down, pull a step out, etc., this one you just jump up, step right up into the bed, and there you are. So that's it. I like that. That's a nice feature. I had to get some stuff out of the bed of this truck earlier, and it works really well. It's positioned right where your feet normally would step. You can jump right down. All right, we're back. I'm going to start this truck just so you can see how quiet the new diesel technology has become. So Richard, kind of go focus up more on the hood aspect here, or you know, around the hood area. I'm going to fire it up so you can actually hear what the diesel truck itself sounds like. Get a little closer if you can. This is the new Duramax, and they are quiet. And Richard and I were trying to prove whether this truck was actually quieter than my truck, and you know, inside the garage when I was starting both of them up, I should have done a comparison test for you all, but I think it's a little quieter. Now that could just be from some of the sound deadening they've done around it. I don't think they've made any configuration differences in the truck. Although I will tell you this, they've done something different, because this truck, I got over 20 miles to the gallon driving on the highway, where my truck, the best I've ever gotten on the highway is 16. So this is 4 miles to the gallon better than my truck, and it's a 1-ton instead of a 3/4 ton. So they've done something different. I haven't studied it yet. I will. They've done something different to where the mileage on this truck is definitely better than the truck I've got, which is only 3 years ago. So major differences there. Yeah, I really like this truck. We're going to do a walk around on the interior. Actually, we're going to go for a drive first. Let's go for a drive real quick. We'll come back, we'll do the interior, and we'll finish up the review. Okay. Okay folks, this is kind of an insert into the review. Rich and I were talking right before we did our driving portion. Headlights. You'll notice the GMC has a single lamp, if you would, a projector lamp. Chevrolet has them stacked on top of each other, so that is going to be some differences you'll see between the GMC and the Chevy. This is a complaint I have on this truck, so I hope, GM, you're listening. This truck doesn't have any better lighting than my 2012 does, and I know that because I've driven both trucks. I've owned the 2012. I've driven that truck in rain, sleet, snow, plowed snow in it, you name it. And I know the other night, and this time of year, as late as it is getting dark, it's 9:30 here in Colorado before it gets totally dark, so you have to be out really late to even see how these lamps work. I will tell you, they are not as bright as my current truck on my 2012. So GMC, Chevy, if you're listening, brighten these up. They need to have better lighting on them. It does have fog lamps that you can use down here, which, you know, they work fine, but you know, I'm not going to write home about that. One complaint I've got on every new truck, GMC, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, if you guys are all listening, guys like me that use a truck, put a snowplow on it, etc., all this crap underneath, it just screws everything up when you try to go put a snowplow on it. If there's a way to incorporate even a snowplow package where you can get rid of, because what ends up happening when you put a snowplow on is you end up having to cut into the bumper, clear up in here to get the snowplow mount to actually fit back up in here. And besides the fact, you can see how low this distance is here. Major complaint. I know they're doing that for fuel economy. Might be the reason why this one gets better economy than mine. Some of it could be the shape of the truck, the engine design. They've done some updated software, etc. I don't know exactly why, but this is a complaint I've got. One cool thing on this truck that we'll talk about in the driving portion is it does have some lane sensing features, collision warning, etc. That is a cool feature. I do like that. You know, would this front end keep me from buying this truck? No, but guys that use the truck like myself that are going to go put equipment on it, it does put a handicap to the truck on my end of things. All right, folks, we're starting the driving portion, and Richard's going to show you real quick on the screen this particular model, which I like. Again, I don't use it a lot, but it is a nice feature. It does give you the backup camera with it, and it does turn and tell you, you know, where you're going to be going. The nice feature about that, where it's actually guiding you, what I will say is when you're hooking up trailers, doing things along those lines, and you can see down here at the bottom, there's where your trailer ball would be if it was on there. It gives you the ability to really make hooking up a trailer much easier. So somebody that doesn't do that a lot and isn't used to, you know, hooking up trailers, etc., that's a nice added feature. But we'll take a quick spin in this truck real fast. And again, Richard commented earlier that, and my wife has actually made note that this truck doesn't ride as smooth. Quite as smooth as my 2012. Actually, I think it's as smooth as my 2012, which is a 3/4 ton Chevrolet. So this 1 ton Denali GMC actually rides as well as my 3/4 ton Chevy does. So they've done that with, you know, different spring rates, etc. This is still a torsion bar systemed truck. There were some comments made, and I've even heard some people call in the radio show and ask me, you know, did they change the front end design? Is the coil spring design, etc.? Nope, this is still the old torsion bar design system. One thing that we forgot to mention as we were doing the walk around a minute ago that I also have a complaint on with Chevy and GMC trucks with their diesels. The DEF system, DEF it's called. It's an additive that you now add into a lot of the lighter duty and even heavy duty diesel trucks. It helps with emissions, helps with fuel economy, etc., versus the old way of handling the emissions on the diesel trucks. One thing that Chevrolet and GMC do that I do not like is the tank is mounted to the outside of the frame rail, and it is a cumbersome thing, especially in the wintertime. It collects snow, ice buildup, etc. If you did any kind of off-roading in this truck or anything, even a farmer out in a ditch, etc., where you're off in a field, that tank is in the way. That's my opinion. GMC and Chevrolet, I wish you would move it. There's other places underneath the truck that you could put that tank. That is a pet peeve I have on this particular truck. Again, it doesn't keep me from buying one, as I already own one, but it is a complaint that I have, and I wish they would change that on these trucks. Outside of that, you know, great truck, drives well. This truck has all the power you really ever need. The days of buying a new diesel truck and having to go out and, you know, what we would call the slang is chipping a truck. You know, the days of having to chip a truck to gain more power, etc. This truck has over 700 foot-pounds of torque. I believe it's pushing close to 400 horsepower. You know, this Duramax diesel and the Allison transmission, you know, the Allison transmission just works fantastic. You know, you just can't beat the way this combination works. They've had this now since all the way back in the early 2000s, and they have refined it. 14, 15 years now of building these Duramax trucks, and they have got it fine-tuned. They work well. They've made little to no changes in the engine other than some injection issues, etc., that they've gone through, or some updates, I should say. They had some issues early on with the injection. They've gotten rid of all that stuff. It works really well, and it's interesting, you know, Dodge has done different things with their 5.9. It's now a 6.7. Ford's gone through 3 configurations, and the entire time Chevrolet, GMC have stuck with the Duramax. They've made some updates to the engine, but it's basically the same configuration it was all the way back when they first started making it. So it's a good, solid engine, works fantastic, and continue to listen to our review as we go through the rest of the inside of the cabin. All right, fans, we're back from our driving portion, and again, we just kind of drive it so you can see and hear kind of what the truck's like and explain some things as we're driving it. This truck, cab-wise, you won't find it really any different than the half-ton series truck that they make. So the 1500, 2500, 3500 series, they're all roughly the same when it comes to the interior. You'll see behind me the Denali badging that's in the headrest here. Richard can actually show it on his side. That's about the only difference as far as that goes. We have a 2014 half-ton. Seating in it is roughly the same. Heated and cooled seats, and I'll shut the door and turn the key on so that we don't have the buzzing sound going on here. Dual climate control, all of your switches for the different things that you need to control. The pedal, this is the anti-traction device, the rear cab light in the back, parking aid, lane departure, downhill descent, and here's your exhaust brake, which, by the way, in the Duramax works fantastic. So this is their infotainment system, which we've never really talked about on air much before as far as the truck version go. We have this truck, it works well. Richard, you can actually talk to it more than anything. How well does it work in your truck?
It works really well. As far as ease of use, it really is easy. We've had some systems that are really hard to set up phone-wise, which I know is a big thing in today's market. And the ease of use on this system that's the selling point. There's not a lot of clicks or points, I guess you could say, to get between areas. And I do like, as mentioned this, I mean, we're the technology buffs. Multiple LED or USB ports, 2 cigarette lighters for your chargers.
110 volt if you want to run a separate charger, or laptop off of it.
On the inside, there's even more USB ports along with an SD card.
You end up with 5 USB ports, an input for an audio, SD port, nice holder here for files, etc. A decent sized console. I will say I like the way they've done the new console versus the old trucks. The other cool feature I do like, Richard, show real quick, they give you a slot here where if you've got an iPad or an iPhone or something, you can actually I can show you real quick. You can actually just put your phone right in the slot. It's a nice little holder for it, so if you've got it plugged in, it's a nice place to just set it and hold it there. It works out really well. Instrumentation is great. They digitize it. There's lots of features inside of it where you can actually figure out, you know, kind of what's going on with the truck itself, fuel mileage, etc. Trailer brake controller on this truck is over here on the left-hand side, along with your lighting and your four-wheel drive controls. Everything else is operated off of the steering wheel. You can talk on the phone, hang up the phone. Radio controls are on the back side, cruise control, all of that, heated steering wheel, collision warning, all of that's in here. Again, the truck is very nice. It's got memory seats. The seating on it is comfortable. You know, power mirrors. OnStar, of course, comes standard on all the Chevrolet GMC trucks. This is a nice truck. You know, is this a truck I would buy? Yeah, it would. In fact, the one selling thing that this truck has going for it, or the selling feature this truck has going for it over Chevy and Dodge, and sorry Ford and Dodge, I'll just say this right up front. So the feature that Chevy and GMC have, in my opinion, over Ford and Dodge right now is, in my opinion, they have got the best powertrain when it comes to the diesel and the automatic transmission of anybody out there. Sorry guys, I've been around trucks a long time. I own every one of the trucks. I own Ford diesels, all of the versions, 6 liter, 6.4, 6.7. I own the Dodges, 5.9s, 6.7s. I own the Duramaxes, and here's the reality of it. I work less on the Duramaxes than I do anything else. They do as well on mileage as anything else. They pull as strong as anything else. And I know all you guys out there can say, oh, John, you're crazy. My Dodge will outpull that Duramax, and my Ford will outpull it. Well, I'm just telling you, from a guy that uses trucks in a fleet on a daily basis, I have a hard time buying anything outside of the Duramaxes. I do own some other ones just because of the, you know, the buying season, etc., what trucks are available. But I will tell you, the Duramax sets these GMCs and Chevrolets apart. So, again, listen to us on Saturdays. We're on air 10 to 1 every Saturday, AM 560. You can listen to us online. You can actually go to our homepage and watch us live on YouTube. So if you're not a YouTube subscriber, you can still go to YouTube, watch us there, watch us on our homepage, pick up all of our other reviews, the videos we've got, interviews, etc. I encourage you, please subscribe to our channel if you like us. Listen to our show. See us on Facebook, facebook.com/Drive Radio. And with that, we'll be back with another review here shortly. Enjoy. Thanks.